Hey everyone, James Hurst with the Marketing Show. I've got a special guest with me today. This is your second, at least second time, I think,
Second
on
time?
the channel. Good to have you back. Josh Nelson is our guest. We've got a small live studio audience, and I gave my wife the link, and a couple other people online maybe join too. We'll see. But we're going to get started, and we are talking about just a fun topic as entrepreneurs, personal development, mastering the inner game, because it all starts with mindset. Like I was saying in the post, that me and Josh were sitting next to each other at lunch, and I was like, hey, we were kind of comparing notes on our Audible libraries, and it was really fun to see like which books we both had in common. We're like, oh yeah, that was a great one. And then to kind of see like, oh wow, I've never heard of that one. And so we kind of were exchanging notes on our Audible libraries, and it could be physical books as well. I just wanted to take the time and talk to Josh about his library, his mindset habits, his reading and listening habits, and how it's made an impact on his career. So Josh Nelson, welcome to the show again.
Oh man, thanks for having me. And when you mentioned this topic, this is something I'm really passionate about because I was a terrible student. Like I just was not a good student. I didn't like to read, didn't pick up reading until late in life. And I fell in love with learning through audiobooks. Pretty much
Yeah.
everything I've ever learned, I've learned through listening. And so I think certain people have different learning modalities. And until I started listening to books, I just wasn't comprehending. But when I can listen to something and just soak it in, so I just devoured all of the books I could get my hands on business development, self-help, wealth creation. And so I really love Audible.
As far as the habit side of things, when do you find that time or make the time to get this in?
It's changed over the years because, when I was working a regular job, I had to commute. So I would do literally like an hour there, hour back, 2 hours every day,
Yeah.
windshield time. Didn't have a lot of additional financial resources. And so I used every minute of that time to listen to books. Literally, I think I'd say listen to hundreds of audiobooks during those years where I was working at JOB. Today, I work
Yeah.
at home, and so I don't really have that drive time. And I kind of miss it a little bit, but I do wake up in the morning. I do work out for about an hour. And so I'm very conscious about using that time to listen, to learn, to develop. And today, I will say I listen to less audiobooks and more paid trainings and courses. And so, I'm buying the, 2,000, 3,000, $5,000 course, and I just want to hear that material. I want to hear the latest, greatest. And so it's kind of a combination of that. But it's usually an hour in the morning during my workout. I've got a 3-year-old child now, and so I spend a lot of time feeding him. And that's kind of like dead air. And so I'll listen to stuff while I'm feeding him for like a 45-minute slot of time.
Oh, that's great. So you're getting in the dad time and also getting some listening time in. When I was started out getting through myself through college was listening to, I think it was 4 Hour Work Week was probably one of
Yeah.
my first Audible purchases. Do you remember what maybe one of your most earliest audiobooks, something along those lines of the old classics, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Well, so actually, if you want to go back to like my original listening, this was before audio. Audio was like CDs. I would take a CD, and
Yeah.
I had a whole CD cassette tape filled with Brian Tracy and Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I did the entire Rich Dad Poor Dad series of books on CDs. I think the first one I got on, I'm looking at it now, on Audible was the E-Myth Revisited. But a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of like sales training and just general how to become successful in life type CDs.
Yeah, yeah. And Michael Gerber, what a simple concept, working on your business, working in your business. But that can, I mean, these different philosophies, Jim Rohn talks about your philosophies of life and profits are better than wages. Some of these minor tweaks can have like monumental long-term consequences.
No doubt. Yeah. So I can tell you, I had a business that I started right out of high school. It was a web design and hosting company that failed. Right. And I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know how to package things correctly. And I just chased my tail for several years and made no money. And then I had to go out and get a real job to make some income. Right. And so I worked at business to business sales opportunities, making anywhere from $40,000 to $70,000 as an income. And it was that time, the learning in those jobs, but really the learning that I did listening to those audiobooks that set the pace for where I am today. If I hadn't leveled up my thinking and kind of like really drilled down on what it truly means to become wealthy, how to be intentional with your health, your wealth, your fitness, mindset training, I don't think I would have built an 8-figure enterprise that we're running today.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I try to get mine in on my runs. If I'm going to go for a run, that's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been doing a little bit with 75 Hard, and one of their tasks is reading 10 page a day.
At a time.
Yeah, 6 books at a time kind of person. And I didn't realize that one of the stipulations is you have to, well, if you start a book, you have to finish it, which is that's a good discipline for me
Oh yeah.
to have. And the first book I read was the book on mental toughness by Andy Frisella. So
Nice.
his program there. And then the second one was your recommendation of Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker's, that one. So, and I'm about 160 pages through that. So just crank it out a minimum 10 pages a day. And that's been good. So,
How do you like
okay.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, by the way? How do you like it so far?
Yeah, there's definitely good concepts in it. I was going to ask you, did you do the hat and the
I
heart?
touched my heart every day. I called out that affirmation. I touched my head,
Yeah,
saying I got a millionaire
yeah,
mind. I played the little
yes.
music, in the background, did the affirmations, the whole 9 yards.
Good, good. So some of that stuff I'm like, okay, is it
This is
looking at me?
weird. Yeah, this is awkward.
I think there's a lot of great, well, the wealth files, right? The wealth
Mm-hmm.
files. I'll tell you, the Audible and the book. Have you ever tried that? Like listen to it and have it out and both get the visual and the auditory?
I've tried it. Yeah, I don't usually find myself just sitting while listening, but I know you get a lot more out of it if you do both simultaneously.
And then do you have any, so if you're kind of passively listening while you're working out, or do you have anything that's like, do you feel like it's just kind of becoming like, is it more of an osmosis thing? Or is it like, I want to take 1 point from this and turn it into an action item? Like, how do you action on your listening?
Yeah, I usually take at least 10 minutes at the end of a workout, and I'm writing down like, okay, like I don't know, write down. I've got an Evernote file on my phone, and it's like, okay, what's
Yeah.
the next thing that I'm actually going to take away from that and implement? That way, I get a lot just from listening, believe it or not. But obviously, it's what you implement that's going to have an impact on your life.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've recently started just my little journal. So I read with a book, and then I have the journal too. And sometimes I just read 10 pages. I'm like, what did I learn? And
Mm.
then I'll also like maybe take my highlights and just jot down just 2 or 3 sentences. And so now I have like a golden nuggets journal from my reading too that I'm adding to this discipline.
One thing you could do, James, to plus one that is you're right now you're implementing daily habits that are making you better as a human being. And if you're reading, take a picture of like what you read and what you highlighted and put that up as a story on your social media.
Yes.
You're working out, you're running, take a picture of yourself working out and running. That like bakes the habit into yourself and makes it public, but it also like inspires other people because they see that you're doing the daily rituals that are going to make you a better human being.
Absolutely. And honestly, speaking of that, like Chris Rodriguez does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your wife was sharing all of her like Pilates stuff.
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are going to injure themselves. I've had mindset shifts on like hey, what do you mean work out every single day? Like and I slowly gone from 3 times a week playing basketball to now even going running and kind of the sweat every day thing. And I actually just read in Grant Cardone's book, he said, if it's something's good enough to do once, it's good enough to do every day, something along those lines. So I'm getting daily movement in. I see your reels, the 1% better every day. So that stuff is inspiring. Should we go flip over to your screen
Let's do it.
And do the big reveal of the library?
Reveal. I think the drum. We need like a little bit of sound to play in the background here or something. Here we go. All right. So this
I'm the oldest.
I sorted oldest to newest. Right. I really think some of the oldest books that I had the biggest impact. Right. Because I really it was all brand new to me. It was all exciting and fresh. And again, even though it doesn't exist on Audible, prior to this was Brian Tracy, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all of those fun things. But
you're showing 50 items per page. How many is that, the max, or?
I think that's the max. Yeah.
Okay. We'll work with it.
So,
all right.
It's a good fundamental book everybody should read. The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gruger. I think most of your listeners probably have this book, have read this book. But I think that's when I started really understanding that it's not just about making money in a job for myself. It's really creating a business and recognizing eventually I can't be doing any of this stuff, right? I need to put people in place in all of these roles, and knowing that going into it helps you build it, right? As opposed to if like you've created a successful company and you have yourself in everything, it's so even harder, if you get too down in the trenches with it.
Yeah, absolute classic. Highly recommend as well.
All right, going up from there, Eat That
Yeah.
Frog, just a great book about do the hardest thing first thing in the day, right? One of the best things you can do is say, man, rather than putting that off and waiting till the end of the day and letting that drag me down, start the day with the hardest thing, get it done, whatever. And it shouldn't just be the hardest thing. It should be the hardest thing that's going to have the biggest impact on the company, the biggest impact on your personal growth.
Love it. Love it. Yes, I have the book, but I haven't gone through that one yet personally. I love this. This is perfect. We're going to talk about it in just a little snippet, right? And then keep going. I love that. I love the format.
The ultimate sales machine, in my mind, one of the greatest books on sales and business development ever written. Chet Holmes, he passed on, but I think a lot of the way I approach business development in terms of creating great content, positioning yourself as the expert, really becoming known to a small list of people. He introduced the Dream 100 initiative here. He's got a lot of trainings on how to actually train up a world-class team. I might have listened to this book a dozen times over the first couple of years. And if I had one sales book to recommend, it would be The Ultimate Sales Machine.
Love it. Love it.
All right. I'm not going to talk about all of these. Success Principles was just a good self-help, personal development book. The Answer by John Osseroff. This one is a little bit woo-woo. Like if you've ever listened to or read The Secret, it's a lot about, positive intention and the law of intention, right? It's like getting clear on what you want so that you can attract it into your life. The second half of the book, though, has some really cool practical insights, one of which I think resonated with me significantly, which was you need to find people that play at what you have to work at. And I was always like, as we were growing the agency, I was like, but, how am I going to hire somebody to do this stuff? Like, because I don't like to do it. It wouldn't be fair to make somebody else do it. But the reality is there's somebody that actually enjoys that thing. And if they step into it, they're going to be better than you could ever be. You're going to create opportunity for them they wouldn't have ever had. And that was just a light bulb moment for me from that book that changed the way I looked at hiring and building the team.
Love it. I haven't heard of that one yet, so that's good.
Yeah, that one's really good. And my all-time favorite, outside of the Bible, all-time favorite book is The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Just an amazing foundational mindset book on wealth. And I think the reason it was so impactful for me was because I grew up in a missionary family. And so, we had very, not negative money beliefs, but it wasn't a priority. Like it was, we're here to spread the gospel. We're here to, help people. And I think I had a lot of like limiting beliefs about what was possible with income, with like wealth creation. This just really helped me set some great intentions and shift my mindset, which I think was a catalyst for the momentum that we've had.
Yeah. I think it's good. Definitely recommend as well.
Now, the other interesting thing about Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, if you look at the book, it's different now because he doesn't do this anymore. But at the time, he was selling this book, and then he would invite you to a 2-day event. He called you remember what it was called? It was the Millionaire Mind Intensive. Millionaire Mind Intensive, right? And so it was like on the book, you're like, oh crap, I got to go to that thing. That sounds great. And you go for 2 days, and you get 2 days of T. Harv Eker, and it's great content. And then you sign up for his bigger thing. And so like our model, right, is you read the 7-Figure Agency Roadmap, which is great content, and you come to the 7-Figure Agency Roadmap Live Intensive for 2 days, and then you're entered into our world. So a lot of my thought process around that formulation was modeling what I thought was really good from T. Harv Eker and his business model.
Now, did you ever go to his 2-day thing?
I did. Yeah. I went twice, and I loved it. I wound up signing up for guerrilla marketing and a bunch of other really expensive trainings that were very impactful.
Yeah, I think just the idea that a book isn't just a book, but it can be like more of a lead magnet and right to something else. I found that's kind of Russell Brunson-esque. You're not just trying, because some people would say, "How much going to make my money on the book?" Right? No, the book is just the gateway.
Yeah, and that's not to
Okay.
say your book should be a sales letter, right? I mean, like, so as an example,
Yeah.
I think this is a great book that if you read it standalone, you get massive value. If you do the
Yeah.
affirmations, you do the exercises, super impactful. You go deeper with it and spend 2 days live, you're going to really learn some things and you're actually going to execute some things. And I hope that's the same with the 7-figure agency roadmap. The book in and of itself is super, impactful, but there's always another level where you can go deeper with the information and deeper with the implementation.
Yeah.
All right. What got you here won't get you there. Solid book. A lot of leadership and inspiration training. Let's get real or let's not play. This was a very specific sales training for selling B2B clients. Crash proof, which I think is interesting because when was this? This was back in like 2007, 2008. And I was like, okay, there's a big crash. No one's going to want to buy anything. And, we're going through this cycle again, right? People are worried, people are scared. But it wasn't a great book, but it just kind of says to kind of like what the concept was.
Yeah. And I'm just now noticing your 2-star and 4-star reviews, so I'm going to use those as I can see them here too. So that's going to kind of tell me which ones are your favorites too.
Yeah, the Master Key System is like a really old, crazy mindset, next level book, a little beyond my comfort zone in terms of like they want you to sit in a dark room and visualize your future and expand that visualization every single day, and it's way out there. But I did take some great insights from that particular book. Innovate like Edison. This school. I like the idea of biographies, and I do tend to get a little bit bored with biographies. I'd rather something more practical, more like here's exactly step by step. Here's what you should do. Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, really solid book. More like a theoretical type book, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have some Malcolm Gladwell too in my library.
Made to Stick is a reader. That is a really good book. It was more around presentation skills and like what's an idea that's going to be sticky in somebody's mind. And so the acronym STICK, talks about you're telling a story and you're making it very tactical and you're giving real, concrete examples. And I think like out of everything there, the main thing that stuck with me was storytelling, right? People aren't going to remember all the things you say, but they'll listen in and they'll remember a story if you tell a story.
Yeah.
You haven't read
Yeah.
it?
For some reason, I'm wired for stories.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. The Getting Things Done, the Art and Stress-Free Productivity book. I think this is a classic that everybody should read. Think and Grow Rich, another great mindset book, kind of similar to Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I think probably T. Harv took a lot of his stuff from Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking for Change. Pitch Perfect by John Steele. Good sales presentation, closing the deal, introducing a new narrative.
There's also Pitch Anything, right? By Oren Klaff, I think.
Yes. I like Pitch Anything better.
I have no, like, I think I've started to consider myself like a collector. So where I've actually enjoyed getting a book and thinking, where does this go? Like, what would his bookshelf buddy be? Kind of this organization. And even like collecting multiples of authors like Seth Godin, I have probably 8 to 10 of his. And so just kind of fun to think where these books would, sit next to each other organizationally on a bookshelf.
Yeah. All Marketers Are Liars, Integrated Marketing, Google Speaks.
Did you ever get into that one? I have integrated marketing. I never really read it.
I gave you a low marks.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't like it. I don't remember anything about it. So
yeah, got you.
This was actually when I just started working at Reach Local. I got Google Speaks and I was learning about the Google algorithm and all of that fun stuff. The Knack, Good Entrepreneurial General Book, Millionaire Upgrade, some cool thoughts and insights there. The Search, this was really cool.
Yeah, I think I have that one too. Yeah.
the searches, it really just talks about the Google algorithm and the history of Yahoo and then Google and that whole journey and how they created the search algorithm. I'm sure there's going to be a massive disruption not far down the track with search totally changing, whether Google stays in command or some other platform.
Yeah.
Let's see. So one of my rare, like just for the fun of it, biographies, I played tennis growing up and I was a massive fan of Andre Agassi. And this was just, just just for the fun of it.
Yeah, no, it's great too.
Marketing on the social web, Googled inbound marketing. All right, this is another one that's like one of my all-time favorites, fundamental to the way I approach marketing. And it was all like very, very practically around how do you put out great content, webinars, podcasts, and get people to come to you pre-positioned to buy. And of course, this was written to sell HubSpot at the time, but I still think of it as kind of my fundamental thought process around marketing strategy in general.
Love it. Okay, that's good. I'll make a note of that.
Also, again, on my list here, one of the best books is Book Solid by Michael Port. Have you read this one?
No.
Super good. So he I guess he went on to sell the brand, and so he's no longer involved in it. But that book, not beyond Book Solid, but Book Solid, Book Yourself Solid, just an amazing, great book. I can't think of like.
I feel like I have Book Yourself Solid. Is that a different title? Book Yourself Solid.
So his first book was Book Yourself Solid, which was the one like that. Like it was a master class in how to market yourself, how to get clients in like service type businesses. And then his second book was Beyond Book Solid, which was like, what do you do next? And how do you put systems and team in place? That wasn't, in my opinion, as good as the Book Yourself Solid.
The first. Okay. I think I've at least heard of the big one, Book Yourself Solid. May have it in my library. Here's one thing I want to add is like there's a mark of an educated person is knowing what to read. There's more books that we can ever read in a lifetime, right? Yeah. And then you've you've actually purchased another subset of books, but then which books have you actually read and implemented too? And so there's just a lot of steps there. So I'm actually curious, like, if you see someone reading that book, it's like, man, what is it about that book that has got them all the way from all the books in the world to you've purchased it and you've actually read it, that the list of those is quite short.
Yeah. I think also you'll notice the library should shift, right? In terms of where you're at in your life, what problems are you looking to solve right now? What's the bottleneck? In a long time there early, I was like, I need sales books because I don't know how to close deals, right? So they're sales books. And then it was like, I don't have enough opportunities in play. I need marketing strategy. And I was reading a bunch of marketing books. And then there's some leadership books. And I think, don't just buy books for the sake of it. Buy books that will solve a specific problem that you're looking to solve right now. And that you're going to take seriously. And that you're probably going to be most likely to action.
Yeah, I love it. Just in time learning.
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar, classic. And How to Win. That was actually one of my early ones. How to Win Friends and Influence People, a long time ago.
I love How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think that's super old, but the principles and the strategies are still extremely practical. Let's see.
Very, very good.
I'm going to go to the next page. Let me know if I'm boring you here, if we're going like in a good track.
Oh, this is perfect. I'm kind of looking at the clock. I think we're on a good pace.
Okay.
But this is so great. Yeah, like skip the ones that are, and just the ones that catch your eye. Let's take a little pause and.
All right. I love Robin Sharma. And he's got some books that I enjoy that are pretty good, like the Monk That Sold His Ferrari and other things like that. But he's got some inspirational speeches that he put on Audible. The best one being How to Craft the World-Class Life. Here's one, Extraordinary Leadership. Just really, really powerful. The one about how to craft a world-class life. For some reason, the way he explains it, the way he articulated it, took me from not prioritizing my health and fitness, only thinking about sales, revenue, money growth, to being like, well, no, just as important as that is I have to exercise and keep myself in great shape. Just as important as that, I have to make sure that I keep a healthy mindset and I'm focused on what's positive. And when I step into a room, I've got an energy that lifts everybody up versus drags everybody down. And I had never I knew I needed to do that stuff, but until I listened to How to Craft a World-Class Life, that really sold me on this concept.
Is that an entire audiobook?
It's
or
an
is it
hour
something?
long. It's an hour-long speech. How to Craft a
Okay.
World-Class Life.
Oh, you got it there.
I would recommend everybody listen to that and listen to it a couple times per week, especially if you find yourself kind of lazy, kind of like, disengaged, not taking care of your health and fitness. It's a game changer.
There it is. Okay.
All right, I'm just going to kind of keep scrolling here, see if there's anything else that super resonated with me. Turning Point, Marketing 3.0. Rework was good book. The Basecamp guys.
Mm-hmm. That's an oldie too. I mean, relatively older, right? Relatively.
Yeah.
It was interesting, Josh. There was a time when to purchase a book was a little bit of a splurge. Like maybe back when you were at the 40 to 68,000 a year range.
Oh yeah.
And or you'd maybe get it at a used bookstore or something. It is so nice to be able to have enough margin in your budget to and go on Amazon and just get it here. Or I think that's my normal day-to-day splurges. I'm not like a Starbucks, or I'm not really too big on stuff. But if I had but to be able to just get Amazon a book over and add it to the library, that's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I think back when I was in like early college days running the agency, that was my favorite. My favorite thing was to run to Barnes and Nobles and just sit there and grab books, self-help, business development, real estate investing, and devour those books. I get really heavy into Audible. And like I said, now, splurge would have been like $9 for one of these ebooks, audio books. Now I'll spend $1,500 to $2,000 on a course. And I'm happy to spend that. I'll invest in a coaching program because, the depth that I can get from somebody that I really resonate with is so much higher. And it's a lot more expensive, but I also feel like my return is greater on those more expensive trainings in today's market.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Tony Robbins, one you highly recommended. Maybe take a minute on that one.
Yeah. So, I think Tony Robbins, I've never been to his live events. I'd love to go one day, but I'm in his, his app, Breakthrough app, where he's got, how to finally get the body that you want. And it's all mental conditioning, how to create wealth, and it's all mental conditioning. But one of my favorites is that daily ritual, just starting the day, moving, focusing on positive, focusing on what you want to build, elevating your energy. And, if you ever find yourself in a funk, go find a free version of that somewhere online because it exists, or invest a couple dollars in his online portal. And it's game changing.
And that truly is that is a part of your daily life, that habit.
Yeah. I kind of go in ebbs and flows. There's times where it's like, okay, I'm doing this every day. And then I'll kind of change the routine a little bit. But every day has to start with, what am I positive for? Like, what am I grateful for? Because I have so much abundance, and I'm so grateful for the life that I have, the wife that I have, the kids that I have, the business that I have, the amazing community that I get to serve. If I don't focus on that and recognize that, then I wind up getting frustrated or disappointed or thinking about something, and my whole energy shifts. And so if you start your day in a state of positive gratitude, your stress goes away, right? And what's interesting is you're going to get more of what you focus on. And so regardless of if I was running a $10 million enterprise or if I was just getting started, if I just focused on what I do have and what I am grateful for right now, I'm going to be attracting more of that into my life into the future.
Yeah.
And those trainings from Tony Robbins really help you, ritualize that process.
Love it. Yeah, I think as far as being like a giver too, you give when you're poor, you give when you're middle, you got to become a giver. You don't just do it when you're wealthy.
100%.
Let's keep going.
All right. Referral Engine by John Jantsch. This is the one I was telling you right here. Book Yourself Solid. Fantastic book. Art of Public Speaking, Copywriting, We First. I got all of these ones from Robin Sharma. Love those. Duct tape marketing. Come on, you have to be a fan of John Janch and his work over the years. Now he's training more on the fractional.
I have to say I'm not too familiar with it yet, so that's good.
Okay.
Good share. I feel like I've heard the duct tape brand, but I just haven't. That's just one I haven't come across.
Haven't drilled down into it.
Yeah. Oh, I do have Entre. I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan.
Super practical, super strong. Yeah. He's also got his EntreLeadership Institute, which is fantastic. You know, it's more expensive, but you've got access to trainings on leadership, trainings on wealth creation. We're in that. We've put our team through that. It's good content for sure.
I always appreciated that he was relatively open with his faith. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like he was just a good Christian entrepreneur. Wasn't, he doesn't wear it on his sleeve necessarily, but he wasn't hiding it either. Yeah. I always appreciated that about him.
No doubt. Purpose-Driven Life, great book. Great spiritual book. I love it. Power of the Link, Scientific Advertising. This is one of the old classics, right? Everybody in marketing should read that one.
There's like one that costs like $200. Is it Breakthrough? Maybe it's Breakthrough Advertising, or I remember there's like an old one that's like the hardbound is a couple $100.
You're thinking of Breakthrough Advertising, yeah. And they don't. I don't think it's in publish anymore, so you have to like go find it on
eBay.
Didn't Russell Brunson spend like thousands of dollars on a hard copy that was like the original or something?
I'm sure that is his kind of thing to do that. I'm not sure.
All right. This one, the content rules, was actually really good. There's one really great insight from this book. And this was a game changer for me in terms of when I started creating outbound, like actual content on a more consistent basis. It talks about the 99-1 rule, which is 90% of people online are lurkers. Like they'll listen to content, they'll hear a post on social media, they'll lurk. 9% are engagers. So like they'll comment and that's about it. Like they'll comment and they'll kind of participate in that way. But only 1% will create. Like what you're doing right now, you're being a creator. That's 1% of the population willing to show up, create content, put yourself out there. And so at the time I was like, well, I don't really have much to contribute. I don't have that much expertise or experience. Why would anybody want to listen to what I have to say anyways? And I really recognized, like, I can just by creating content, I enter the 1%, right? And I started creating content and getting confidence. And the more you do it, the stronger you become at it. And that book was a major contributor to that philosophy.
Turning point. Yeah. I love that. It's, I was thinking, James, you put out content, willy-nilly here and there. What percentage would be putting out content every day? Right. And I've been with the 75 hard, these daily habits. I'm going to read my 10-page. I'm going to get my workout. I'm going to do this. And what else can I add to my daily routine? And I think content creation is worthy of that.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah. 4 Hour Body, really good book. Changed the way I thought about fitness and exercise. Optimize. Here's Rich Dad Poor Dad in the library. Everyone should read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Everybody needs to get cash flow of the game. Everybody needs to play cash flow of the game a couple times. Ideally a couple times a quarter, but at least a couple times a year. Have you ever played cash flow? It's a board game.
Yeah, the purple one. It's been a while, that's for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. The whole they could boil down Rich Dad Poor Dad into like one core philosophy, and that's that rich people invest in assets to create income, passive income. Poor people invest in liabilities, toys, cars, houses, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so if you can organize the way you spend your money to say, okay, rather than just buying stuff, I'm going to invest in things like houses, things like, whatever, multifamily, to the place where I'm investing in assets that hold value and are going to increase, but also will throw off cash flow. That's really where you can become truly financially free, where your passive income exceeds your living expenses. And I think I've executed on that well in certain regards, but I like to live a great life. So we do spend a lot of money in a lot of different places. I could be more frugal, but I'm working on both sides of the equation.
I think I start out with a very frugal mindset, but frugality can only take you so far. When you start spending too much, if you're clipping coupons, and you'd be much better served to just go for wealth creation.
Go make more money. Go make more money so you can live the life while you're alive. I'm sure it's on here and we'll get to it eventually, but the other book, kind of the opposite side of that spectrum, is Die with Nothing. And kind of the philosophy of that book is you're only going to live for 80 years, and you're only going to feel probably really good for 50 or 60 of those years. Your kids are only going to be with you for like 15 to 18 years where they want to do stuff with you. During that time frame, you could sock more money in the bank and be a decamillionaire, have millions and millions of dollars. Or you could take that money and say, how do I live the best life I want to live? Like spend the time with my family, live in the type of house that I want to live. Because once you're dead, the money's gone, right? And, like you might as well invest it, in experiences and living a full life. And so I've kind of embraced a balance. I'm still investing. I'm still creating passive income. But I also just don't want to be a miser that's got all this money socked away. Yeah. And, my kids, are now 20 or 30, and now I'm willing to spend some of it. Yeah,
I'm in that same boat too. Maybe it was 4-hour work week. They call it the deferred life plan, right? Where I'm going to put in, we'll work the 40 years, and then I'll be in my old age when I finally have some money. You've got to enjoy. I don't know. It's a balance of enjoying what you have right now, and also for the future.
Yeah.
But
100% charisma myth. Oh gosh, here we go. Keep going. A couple more pages. If we need to stop looking. Well, I would think, really the books I listened to early were the ones that had the biggest impact on me. Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs, highly recommend it. You want to be a better presenter. You want to be a more captivating presenter. Nobody did it better than Steve Jobs. And this book basically takes the way he presents and gives it into you in a format that you can leverage for your next speaking opportunity.
Okay. Framework.
Abundance, 15 little bit.
John Maxwell's a classic.
Yeah.
I've got Delivering Happiness, One Click.
High Touch Revolution, Steve.
Oh yeah, Steve Jobs. Yeah.
Ultimate Question 2.0, good.
Einstein, okay.
This one's great. Getting Naked, a business fable. Like if you like business fables, I can't remember exactly what the takeaway was, but I remember being like, this was one of the best leadership books I think I've ever read. And so I would highly recommend it. I don't have stars on these anymore, but I loved this one.
I recognize that name. What else has he done? Patrick Lencioni. What else has he done?
He's done some amazing stuff. Yeah, look up Patrick Lencioni. He's a prolific author. He does story-based content better than anybody else. So like instead of reading a book on whatever it is, like he's like enters you into a real world scenario, and you're living out the scenario through the eyes of the participants, and it lands differently.
Yeah, like an alchemist, I think, maybe kind of like that.
Kind of that, yes, that kind of thing, where it's actually story-based.
Yeah.
A fable. The Goal by Eli. Yes. This one,
really?
This was the only book that I can recall from college that I have a degree in business that I was like, that is a universally applicable book. And it's also a story, fable, but it's an operations guy that's in a manufacturing plant and he's about to lose his job and he's got to figure out how to get the work done. And it just boils down to the theory of constraints, which is there's one bottleneck in that operation right now that's causing all of the other components not to work correctly. And if you can focus and find the bottleneck and then solve the bottleneck, that's how you get a breakthrough. And that theory of constraints applies in every area of your life, and especially in your business. If you can focus on the one constraint and solve for that, the thing that's stopping everything else, that's how you get exponential growth.
Love it.
Let's see. Built to Sell, solid read. Joel Osteen, he's very inspirational. I like Joel Osteen. Pumpkin Plan, all the books by Mike Michalowicz. Profit First, Pumpkin Plan.
Yeah.
all of those.
I see the heights. I see that he comes to like, so he seems like he's a little bit accessible. I mean, he's coming to the mastermind and stuff. You might be able to get him to come speak, or I don't know.
Yeah,
He seems.
he's a dynamic speaker. Yeah, I love him. The Who, A Method for Hiring, really good book. I think a lot of our hiring philosophy actually comes back to this book, Who, which is it's really getting like just dialing in your hiring process and it's very clear. $1 Billion Lessons, Amaze, Financial IQ, Thinking Big, Cash Flow Quadrant, Predictable Revenue. This is about building an outbound sales team, and kind of what that looks like for prospecting. Richard Koch, 80-20, the Pareto principle in business, super good. Highly recommend that one. Influence, 80-20 marketing and sales by Perry Marshall. It's basically it's Pareto principle specific to marketing, right? And I really got great value from that. Tony Robbins, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, good book. Actually, I think Scaling Up was a great book because it's kind of like takes the concepts of the E-Myth and makes it more practical. But this was designed for massive companies, like not massive, but $10 million plus companies, I think. And Traction by Gino Wickman, which is the book that outlines the entrepreneur's operating system, is kind of the sweet spot for companies in that, $500,000 to $10 million range. Let's see. Bulletproof Diet.
I would say I didn't know about EOS until a 7-figure agency.
Is that right?
And
okay.
Now, yeah, I wasn't aware of it, but I've only been self-employed for a couple of years now too. So
right. I'll try and go a little bit quicker through this list.
Yeah.
Profit First. Everybody should read this. Basic premise, right? Like it's great and explains it really well, but the basic premise is you should take your profit. The second revenue comes in, it should be moved to a profit account, whatever the amount is, 20, 30, 50%. And you need to have ratios for the other money, the operating expenses within your company, paying your taxes, paying yourself, long-term savings, and you should take the profit off the table right out of the gates. That's the most surefire way to ensure you run a profitable enterprise and actually keep some of the money that you're making.
And yeah,
I was The One Thing, great book, just on focus. Very similar to the theory of constraint. It's like, what's the one thing that's going to have the biggest impact that I can focus on and get done right now? Still the Show, solid presentation book. Also by Michael Port, the guy that wrote Beyond Book Solid and Book Solid.
Okay.
Good to Great, The Compound Effect, Wizard of Ads. For those of you doing marketing, digital marketing, marketing content, this is one of the best books there is. A really good, practical, by a real person that actually does marketing at a very high level.
Okay, first time hearing that one.
Yeah, Wizard of Ads.
Is it a little bit overwhelming, like how many different topics there are to like have to know? I mean, there's so much.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think you take it one bite at a time, and I think what you're doing right now with 10 pages a day on one book till it's done. Just be really selective on the next book, right? Make sure it's a book that is going to solve a problem, a constraint that you have. That way you're like, yes, blinders on. I'm reading this. I'm going to implement this, and I'm not jumping to dozens of books.
I do really like Millionaire Fastlane too. That was good.
Super. Amazing book. Richest Man in Babylon is basically the old original version of Profit First, because this book has one core premise. What was it that the richest man in Babylon did differently that he became so rich? Is that he took his 10%
away?
It might not have been 10%, but he took his money first. So before paying the bills, before taking care of everybody else, he put money into a wealth account that never got spent. It got invested, and the investments compounded and created passive income. And that's the richest man in Babylon. Free Wealth, Relentless. This is just a great inspirational, get it done. Tim Grover was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan. Great.
I've got that one.
Yeah.
I like 5 love languages too for relationships.
Super good. And
Good
I
one.
think there's a 5 love languages for, for business as well. This is a really good
Oh,
book to understand your partner. And, not all of us, experience love the same way. So you got to understand what their love language is and operate in that way. The message, I mean, this is the best one, right? The Bible, that's got to be very front and center. And I like the message because it's like modern day explanation of the Bible, not in like super complicated terminology, but in every day, the way you would say it today type of language.
okay.
Legends of the Monk,
Monk and the Merchant.
Double,
Yeah.
Sales Accelerate. This is also a great how to build an outbound sales team. This is a must read, must listen, whatever you want to call it. And I'm surprised how many marketers haven't read it. It's Persuasion by Robert Cialdini.
Okay.
Persuasion and the Art of Persuasion, which is the other book that he wrote. It's actually scientifically researched, like what it is that persuades somebody to do business with somebody else, and like backed with very specific examples. And so, you should absolutely read that. Ultimate Goal Setting Program, Coactive Coaching. So if you're doing coaching, you're supporting your team or you're supporting people in a coaching environment. Great book. Unshakable. This is like a wealth creation book. Rental properties.
Welcome, Hube. 10x rule.
Yeah.
Cardone, I at first I didn't really know he's like kind of over the top, but I actually he's growing on me, Grant Cardone.
You hate him or you love him. I don't know that I like his persona. I do like the concept of the 10x rule and the way he explains it in this book. Giftology, you think like one of the things we really buy into from a retention perspective is to show gratitude and to give gifts. And Giftology was a great book. Like practically speaking, how do you do that, at scale? I think the most fundamental book that has scaled our business to multiple 7 figures is Traction by Gino Wickman.
Wow.
So like,
wow.
Have to read this, but then you have to actually go and implement EOS, right? And then you have to go and get an implementer that's going to implement it in your business and help you build a leadership team and make them autonomous. But the seed content for that is Traction.
Wow.
Small Giants, 4 Agreements, Alchemist, Headstrong, Rocket Fuel. This is a great book. Like as you grow and you're thinking, I'm the visionary, how do I get somebody that can be my second in command, that will actually do the work, that will actually get the stuff done? That's what Rocket Fuel is. It's an EOS book that is how do you find your integrator, that second in command that can help run your organization. And I recommend it often.
Awesome.
Magnesium. All right, I'm going to skip to the last page here because
what you've recently just purchased, right? Or
I'm going to tell you, like, we would need to open up School and Circle and all, like maybe we'll do another training on that, which is like, what are the courses and trainings that I'm getting into? But
love it.
Here. Greatness Guide.
If you can go over, I can go over a little bit too, if you want to. I don't know if
listen, if you want to retain clients at the highest level possible, and you run an agency, how do you go wrong with the book called the Client Retention Handbook, right? I mean, this is great. It's also well written. Buy Back Your Time. All right, so this is a recent book, massive, great book. Dan Martell. I'm in his elite coaching program. A lot of the way I think about implementation, freeing up your time, being more effective. This is just a must read. Have you read this yet?
I have it. I have it in my I have the physical copy. I haven't read it. Okay. Right now I've got more time than I know what to do with. So.
You need to create revenue. I think everything you do has got to be around business development and revenue generation, right? Yeah. And then once you've got revenue generation, you're like, I got tons of money. Now it's like, how do I free up more of my time? So maybe it's a great book, but it may not be the one for you right now. But it is
the next read. Yeah.
Dichotomy of Leadership. I had read Atlas Shrugged. This is a very conservative book. They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. Fantastic book. Marcus was at the intensive. I had read that book. it doesn't come from my library, but I read this like way back when I was still on CDs. And a lot of the way we would create our content was based on they ask, you answer. And so Marcus, a great book here.
Yeah, you guys have become good, I think, since then.
I'm sorry?
You guys have become friends.
We have, yeah. He's doing some additional content for the community. He'll be back again, hopefully in July of next year for the intensive, which will be fantastic. Alex Hormozi's books on $100 million leads, good book, double, 10X, The Gap and the Gain. I like this book. I like all of the Benjamin Hardy books that he's done with Dan Sullivan.
Yeah, I just got his Science. I think it's Science of Selling.
Just really, just one. The Science of Scaling, right? The Science of Scaling.
Thank you. Yeah.
Super good. Catalytic Leadership by Dr. Attaway. Great book.
Yeah, I got his hard copy of that.
Simple Numbers, super good, finance and accounting book. Once you get past 2 million, it becomes less practical just to rely on profit first, and you have to be a little more strategic with how you manage your finances. And this book is great. And so in our Titan Mastermind now, we actually work directly with Greg Crabtree. He takes all of our revenues, all of our expenses, all of our profitability, and puts it onto a singular sheet and helps us all find where are we overspending, where are we underspending, what's one of the agency that's just doing really well in a certain area, and it helps us benchmark the data. So that's, would have not known even that was a possibility until we connected with them. But that's a great book on profitability and lean marketing.
Okay,
Alan Dibb.
He came to the intensive.
Yeah. Corey Quinn. Anyone, not everyone. I'm a big fan of Corey's.
With gifting, is that gifting as well, right? Or is that?
Anyone ever is actually an agency book. He was the CMO from Scorpion, and then he became an agency coach, consultant, trainer, and he really teaches how to choose a niche, very similar, and then how to go out and grow the agency.
Well, was his intensive presentation on giving things too?
Yes, it was gift-based outbound. Yeah. It was like sending gifts to get people to answer the phone. Yeah, that's one of his main strategies that he teaches. Yeah. This is one of the ones I recently listened to by Dan Wardrop, Instant AI Agency. Actually, this book, the basic premise is using database reactivation at high level and making that your main service, but then charging a percentage of the revenue. I thought it was pretty good. I thought I explained it well, and you actually might get really good benefit from this, James. I would recommend you go listen to that one because it's that's your sweet spot right there, high level. So you might as well see what they're up to.
Thank you.
Mastery, great.
Mastery. Oh, I was just looking at Mastery. Yeah.
Yeah.
By Robert Greene.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Stephen Pressfield ones. Yeah, Daily Dad and Ultimate Jim Rohn. Okay. Yeah. I'm a pretty big Ryan Holiday fan.
I know that. Yeah. I think you were the one that turned me on to him in the first place. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. He's got a new one coming out. Wisdom Takes Work is what it's called.
Okay. I like that.
And there's the one by Marcus Sheridan and the AI driven leader. Yeah.
In today's market, if you run an agency of any size, you need to read this one. That really changes the way you think about AI and how to leverage AI, not tactically, but from a strategic perspective. And then most recent, the endless customers. So that's my Audible library, and I think really, most of my success is due to the learning in those trainings, in those books.
Yeah. That's the most exhaustive look we've ever had in public.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, maybe that wasn't what you intended for me to read you every title, but
no, that's exactly what I intended. So let's Jeremy, who do you guys have any questions, comments, anything any books that you've already got in the cart or?
Yeah, so I looked through it, and my first business Audible book was actually your first book, Josh. So
the 7-Figure 18 Roadmap was the first Audible book you had? Awesome.
Good for you.
How cool is that?
What about you, Huve? Any insights? I know you kind of jumped on late, but
Yeah, sorry. No, I don't have any questions at the moment. Sorry.
okay.
I was working and then I was like, oh, shoot. And then I jumped
Yeah.
on it.
Thanks for
I
popping
couldn't
on.
miss it though.
It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, shoot.
James, you want to scroll
Maybe
through your top 5? You want to hit a couple of yours?
Let me scroll. Yeah, let me scroll through mine real quick. I won't.
Yeah, I hogged the screen the whole time there.
I won't indulge myself too much. This is supposed to be out of Josh's library. But okay, so yes, we have. I guess I'm starting at the top, and there's always like that one embarrassing one that you're like, oh, that was for something personal, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'll be on the lookout for those. That's the fun stuff.
Science of Scaling, the Book of Mormon, and the Bible. I'm the same with that. 48 Laws, The Go-Getter, Myron Gold. He's a Russell Brunson guy. Yeah,
I love Myron Golden. He's
yeah, me too. The Subtle Art. Yeah, that's one. I don't know this one drops the F-bomb so many times I can barely like. So I don't know if yeah.
That's one to play through the speaker with the kids around, right? It's like
yeah.
Like Dan Martell. If you're in any of Dan Martell's stuff, like you can't have it on because he curses every other word and he's proud of it.
Yeah. So okay, Ikagi. That's about this balance of stuff. Never Finished. David Goggins, Infinite Atonement, American Spirit. Okay, so one author you didn't have was David McCullough, and he's more of like it's more like history biography. And I've really started. I wasn't a history person, but I've really enjoyed like his Wright brothers and 1776, and just kind of rounding out some of that. So Good They Can't Ignore You. Cal Newport. I feel like he would be. I feel like any of his stuff. Cal Newport.
I don't. I've heard the book, but I haven't studied him. No.
Okay. Yeah, he's got quite a few titles that I think would be up your alley. Okay. Let Them Theory, Mel Robbins, basically just saying, hey.
I just read that one. It was awesome.
Yeah.
He helped me so much.
Ultimate Les Brown Library, the AI-driven leader. So we got a connection. You talk about fables. Pound the Stone is a fable-based one. Breath, Chop Wood, Carry Water. Is it just doing the work, right? Just doing the work and just Slow Productivity by Cal Newport. Then there's Alan Dibb right there. Truman by David McCullough. Meditations. This one was something Ryan Holiday. This was like the old private thoughts of a Roman emperor. It was his journal that surfaced. This is a classic, but it's a little bit of I don't know. It's a little bit of a harder read. It's not easy to read. You got to dig into it. Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. Right Thing Right Now. Stillness is the Key. What else? 80-20 Sales and Marketing. Good Inside. This one is for parenting and stuff. War of Art. Stephen Pressfield. The Artist's Journey. Turning Pro. Do the Work. Put your bottom where your heart wants to be. Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hello, Sleep. Mindset. I've heard lots of people say really good things about mindset. Be Obsessed or Be Averaged. Atomic Habits, The Daily Stoic, The Daily Dad.
I think The Daily Stoic is the one you sent me, right? I think that was
it was Right Thing Right Now.
Oh, okay.
It was right. Yeah.
I think I bought it afterwards, The Daily Stoic after that.
Okay. Traction, like you said, right? Gino Wickman, Ultimate Sales Machine. These might have been some of your recommendations that I took. No Rules. This is Netflix. Reed Hastings. And then Dave Ramsey, The Legacy Journey. Remote, which goes with Rework. Yeah, but it's the same guys. Jason Fry. Yeah, that goes with them. Ego is the Enemy. How Will You Measure Your Life? That's a good one. Okay. Clayton Christensen, professor at Harvard. He says, all these people, like they intended to do, the Harvard college graduates, so they end up getting divorces and going to jail, and they didn't, that's not what they intended. Discipline is Destiny, 1776, Baby Steps Millionaires. Rhinoceros Success is the classic. I'm not sure if you've ever read that one.
I haven't, no.
Many years ago, I read it.
A classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a short, easy read. You'll read it in an hour or two. The kids could even, it's just a fun one.
Hmm.
Seth Godin, Tribes. Yeah. Elon Musk. I think I've read this one twice.
Wow.
And I think that's good. I think that's a good measure, Josh. I perked up when you said I've read this 12 times, right? When someone that goes back to a book over and over again, that tells me something, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, Mike, Almost Alchemy, Dan Kennedy, The Pumpkin Plan, 6 months to six figures, Traffic Secrets. Yeah, do you do all the .com secrets, traffic secrets?
I don't know why I haven't listened to any of the Russell Brunson books. I don't know why, and I'm a fan of Russell's, but
yeah. 100 Million Offers, Introvert as Networking, the Wright Brothers. I'm the airplane kind of guy. Ultimate Gym Room Library, Marketing Made Simple, Donald Miller, Tools of Titans. That's a beast of a. It's a thick one.
It's a bunch of interviews with successful people. Yeah,
Range, Take the Stairs, kind of like a do the hard work kind of thing. Relentless. No BS Direct Marketing, The Charge. I love Brandon Burchard. Do you have you're in his world at all, Brandon Burchard?
Not really, no.
Yeah. You never heard
I've heard of him. No, I've heard of him. I heard him speak a couple times at the Traffic Conversion Summit. I just haven't never really entered.
I like his stuff. I do. I think he's a great guy. Building a Story Brand, Perennial Seller. Ryan Hawley, Obstacle is the Way, a classic. I have it on Audible. I'm actually got the hardbound coming.
Nice.
High Performance Habits by Brandon Burchard. Motivation Manifesto, Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. Extreme Ownership is a classic. You good on that one too? Yeah.
I feel like I didn't see it on my list, but I know I read it at some point.
Profit First, like you, From Poop to Gold. This is the guys that did the Squatty Potty ads, the Harmon Brothers.
Okay, that's cool.
Ads, yeah. This is Marketing by Seth Godin. That one I just couldn't get into. I don't know what it is about it, but usually I like Seth Godin a lot. The One Thing, Pitch Anything, Expert Secrets, Millionaire Fastlane, 10 Pillars of Wealth. I really liked his, Alex Becker's. Crushing It, Gary Vaynerchuk, Think and Grow Rich. 10X Rule, LinkedIn Riches. Unscripted by MJ DeMarco, Dads Who Stay and Fight, 1, 2, 3 Magic, Total Money Makeover, 4-Hour Work Week, 2009.
Nice. That's a classic. Yeah. Still applicable today. It's a great book.
Well, that was a little bit of a marathon, but I think, man, imagine all the little shorts that you could pull out of that for ages, right?
Yeah, lots of little takeaways. I love personal development. I love audiobooks. And so I love that you brought me on to talk about this. Hopefully somebody's inspired, maybe finds a new book that they hadn't considered yet, or maybe just get inspired to learn in a different way. Like maybe Audible's for you, maybe reading's for you, maybe getting live in events is for you. But find your passion and focus on the one thing that you need to solve for right now and just drill down into it.
That's really good advice. I think if I had a fault, it would be I'm reading. Well, first of all, I was reading 6 at a time, and kind of what's interesting. But to the idea to, what do I really need to? What's the next thing to read a book on? That would be a different mindset for sure. Mm-hmm. So, okay, guys. Well, if you want to stay connected to Josh, you guys know where to find him. Also, check out our other episode about his books that he's done. Let me share my screen one last time and just take them over how they can connect with you on Facebook. There's a free group, Digital Marketing Agency Success Secrets. Okay. So that is there, 20,000 people. It just crossed over 20,000 people there. A great place to network, connect, share, and get information. And then also 7figureagency.com. You can get started with his books. He's got free courses. It's a great place. Anybody doing digital marketing should be following Josh. And he's been a great blessing in my life. And I'm grateful for the time spent today. And with that being said, guys, any last words, Josh?
No, man. Thank you. Thanks for bringing me on. It was an honor. And thanks for everything you do to support the 7-Figure Agency community. And I love this channel, so appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode of The Marketing Show. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, James.